Move over, Swanson. I'm driving.
Wow!
Hey, Smails! My dinghy's bigger than your whole boat!
Welcome back to the Caddyshack Minute, the podcast in which we view and discuss and think about and try to mess up Danny's putt in the film Caddyshack 1 minute at a time. I am Tom Taylor, and I'm here with my co-hosts Mike DiMaria.
My New Year's resolution is still intact as I'm still taking notes here. So.
Oh, beautiful. Look at him, so studious.
So minute 42 it says here. And, okay, ready to go.
And suddenly you wear glasses. That's so weird. You didn't used to wear glasses.
Am I reading glasses?
Yeah. We're also here with Dan Lewis.
Yeah, I'm flipping the script. No notes from me on this one.
Whoa.
So it's a bit of a, we're doing a flip the script.
Nice. This is exciting. I feel like we're doing this without a net. This is beautiful.
Well, it's good because Dan studies improv, so he should be okay.
Yeah. He's just going to pretend he saw Caddyshack.
Well, I did go through the improv school there, but keep in mind that I was never good at it the entire time.
So you got that going for you.
Right, I'm not good at it.
Somebody comes up to you and says, "So, I understand you're a bartender." You're like, "Nope, I'm not a bartender."
No, sorry, I don't know what you're talking about.
No.
I'm improvising. Bartender. Next line is yours.
Yes. Yeah, sure. What do you have, mister?
Jeez, where do we find these guys?
We got nothing but empty bottles here in my imagination.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, we got
Give us
minute
the
42
bookends.
here of Caddyshack. What?
Give us the bookends of the minute.
Okay, the bookend.
Yeah.
I was just about to. My God. Minute 42 of Caddyshack begins with Danny lining up his putt, and it ends with Judge Smails suggesting that Danny join him at the yacht club.
Right.
No, it actually ends with him going,
It does not end with him going, which is the biggest crime of this minute, is that it cuts off just before he goes,
Yeah.
No, but he does it once. He makes the first audible, and he purses his
true?
lips. Yes.
Right. We
Well-
don't know that yet. We don't know if he's choking or what's
Right, but
happening.
he does
until
make
the
a-
next minute.
having a
He makes a
seizure.
little bit of a sound.
As you might imagine, Tom cut this up into 1 minute chunks before we ever started, and it can be very unsatisfying when you're waiting for sort of a part to happen and the minute ends right before that. It's convenient in times like when Rodney offers or bets $100 that Judge is going to slice in the woods, and you don't know yet whether he's going to slice into the woods.
Yeah.
But at times like this, when you're waiting for Judge to go, you don't get to see it. It leaves a pit in your stomach.
Yeah. How do you think the audience feels? They gotta wait like until next time to even imagine us talking about that.
Right.
They're left in the cold.
Right. That's okay. There's still a lot of good stuff in this minute.
Yeah, it's a
There
fantastic.
is a lot of. You may not have taken notes, but I've got notes because there's a couple things that confuse me here. Well, first, I got to say, like based on the last episode, it was revealed to me. I've seen this movie thousands of times. I'm watching it for a podcast, 1 minute at a time, and I have never, ever, ever noticed that Danny Noonan's parents are here in this scene, and have been there since the beginning of this tournament.
Right.
I've seen that woman. I don't think I ever noticed his dad, but I've seen the woman she's got the visor and she's got the gray hair and stuff. I never ever saw her as Danny's mom.
But you must have seen her as Danny's mom when they embrace him after he makes the putt.
I was just saying to Mike before we started recording, I was watching the minute again. I'm like, I've never seen that happen. I think because I'm watching D'Annunzio being upset at that same exact moment.
Yep.
Where he kind of
that is good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, two things. Well, I've always kind of concentrated on D'Annunzio, the way that he kind of coolly flicks the ball away.
Yeah.
At the end, but I also this has happened to me in many minutes too, where I was like, how did I never notice that?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're learning.
And this is the minute where you get one of the iconic sound bites from this movie, and that's the use of the name Noonan to make somebody screw up.
Oh, and this survives to this day.
Yeah, that we've used on any sports field or any time anybody's about to do something.
Yep.
Even if they're going to go ask a girl out or something, you give them Noonan.
Noonan.
Miss it.
We did this a lot. My friend Ted Bigham and I. He the same guy that I watched this with the first time, and many, many, many times, where we rented it every single time we went to Blockbuster instead of just buying it.
Right.
That's the same guy that I played disc golf with for one summer. And there was a lot of
Just
Noonan
one
during the
summer.
disc golf games, too. Noonan. I love that. I love
That's
that whole
awesome.
Noonan thing. It's never gotten old for me.
No, it's legitimately funny. It's so obnoxious and hysterical. and it's the you can almost show just that moment, and that's like the spirit of the movie in a way.
And you know what's
It
great
really
about
is.
it? You know what's great about this is how it starts. Is D'Annunzio says to him, "You got it, Danny Noonan."
No,
So
okay,
he
please.
puts that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That was one of my huge questions about this minute. Does he actually? He's
Yeah.
He clearly says something encouraging to Danny Noonan, but
Well, he does it. No, but he does it in a way to get in his head. It's like a.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
like
sarcastic.
again. I think this has a lot to do with Tom's lack of participation in sports.
Yeah, he doesn't get this,
You don't
this kind of irony, this type of
You
irony.
don't want,
doesn't-
yeah, and it's like if you're coming up and they're changing pitchers and you're on the on deck circle, the winning runs at third and there's 2 outs. You don't
Right.
want somebody to come up to you on your own team to say, "You got it, don't worry about it." You know,
Yeah.
just the whole
Yeah.
game. It's him. They're saying the whole game is in your hands.
Yeah, don't
You know,
worry.
Yeah.
But you
We've
got it.
this
Don't
one.
worry
This
about
is
it.
This is an easy putt. What?
Yeah.
You're not. What? You think you might miss it?
Oh, you just won't go to college.
Yeah.
your parents are watching.
Yeah, if
Right.
you strike out here, we lose the game. But don't let that bother you. You got it.
Right.
He's crawling inside his head, and then immediately everybody starts with the miss it.
Yeah.
Right.
I got to say,
Which
that's
goes-
smooth.
Yeah.
It confused me.
Yeah, it's not encouragement, Tom. It's not encouragement.
I didn't think it would be, but it just. But what are these tones
Yeah.
of encouragement coming from?
But there's a lot of
Tony D'Annunzio?
you're misreading it in sort of the similar way that Mr. Spock would misread something because there's not that nuance there. You don't
Yeah.
really understand human emotion.
Which, can I say, that drives me nuts a lot of the time? Like,
What?
Spock is so intelligent and so
sorry I brought it up.
logical.
Yeah.
And so,
Here we go.
Skip ahead 15. Just keep hitting the advance button on your phone for do it 5 times and I should be done. But how does he not, even if he doesn't understand human emotions or doesn't have human emotions, how is he thrown for such a loop every time somebody reacts in an emotional way? Just
Right.
knowing that humans are emotional beings, he should be like, oh, he's experiencing anger, so he's acting this
No.
way.
And that's a good point. But here's what I think what it is that Spock is kind of like a hybrid in the sense where he's trying to work it out so he can become more human.
Yeah.
That is my take on Spock, because I watch Star Trek too. I'm not just a
I love that you have a take on
I'm not
Spock.
just a cool guy.
Yeah, I'm not just a cool guy who got everything.
With a
had
sharp
the,
beard.
Yeah, because I had the Camaro growing up, and I was at all the dances. I also watched.
too.
I also watched Star Trek. No, he's not just. Oh, this is illogical, but it's because of this. He is trying. He wants to understand, and that would be all the kind of like
Yeah.
the comedic light
Yeah.
moments. Is when him and Captain Kirk would have that conversation. The music would change to something light on the piano,
Right.
and Kirk would try to be telling him about, well, that's love,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
it would be, yeah,
And Spock goes, and make a mental note of this, and he's sort of building it up the way like an AI computer would build up
Right.
the information.
But also,
over
Mike
time.
brings up a good point that he is half human and he's always distancing himself from that. So maybe when he sees
Right.
somebody acting emotionally, even though he gets it, he's sort of like distancing himself from it, being like, I will
That's what
never
I-
understand these crazy humans and their
That's what a
emotions.
psychopath would do.
Right. And we know that Spock is a bloodthirsty killer.
Yeah, well, I guess it's not what a psychopath would do because a psychopath would learn how to. I just was reading the John Ronson book, The Psychopath Test, and it's sort of about how a psychopath will notice that people have emotions, and will get good at manipulating those situations, but will never actually experience them himself or
wow.
herself.
That's creepy.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about Caddyshack anymore.
Don't want to bring
I'm
it
all
down,
bummed out.
yeah. All right, well, let's get back to the speaking of psychopaths. Judge
they start with all
Smails.
this. They start with all this, the Noonan, the miss it, and everything. And would this really be allowed to happen? I could see they would do it a few times. Miss it. Then
Yeah.
Smails, grabs Angie's
Right.
hat and pulls it
Yeah.
over. But that's the extent of it. And then for
Yeah.
the next 10 seconds, they're doing it even worse.
Right.
Like, wouldn't they come out and stop and get them off the course at this point?
Yeah, like wouldn't Loomis put a stop to it because Judge Smails is standing right there?
They
Yeah,
allowed
but
it
you
to
know-
happen.
To go along with what Tom said about this being the spirit of the movie, it's the caddies are taking over. It's like the caddies they're an unstoppable force, and you can't. There's nothing you do about it. It's like when they raid
the
the
next
pool. It's
15
like,
minutes.
listen, we're gonna go ahead and just be what we are.
Right, but
Yeah.
at the same time, though, this is the Caddy Tournament.
That's true.
This is put on by the club.
Right.
There's hundreds of dollars in scholarship money on the line.
I mean,
It
you
sucks.
you could say, if he missed it, you have a good case to say, you know what, I have to take a mulligan on this one because of all the ruckus.
Right.
You know?
I just thought of a good joke that they could have put into the movie. You could have done it where
Is
they
it a
do the
hipster
miss
joke?
it. What?
Is it a hipster joke?
No.
I've had my fill, thank you.
Yeah, I'll never have my fill. But they could have done it where everybody goes, miss it, and then have the judge go, stop it, that's unprofessional, and grab, you know. But then at the end, the judge could stoop to doing it as a way of showing that when his own personal thing is at stake.
Oh, you mean later in the movie?
Yeah, exactly. And I don't want.
Okay.
I don't want to
Instead
do
of-
spoiler alert for those who haven't seen the movie.
There's more
I don't
golf
want
in
to
this
have a
movie?
thing at the end when the judge is playing golf and when he's got money on the line, he suddenly thinks it's okay to act like a dirtbag.
And
we
it'd be
already
funny
know
'cause-
Right, right.
They
and it
could
would
have
work.
done that joke, I think.
And it would work because it's Noonan again.
Right. And he would have gone, no,
Instead of-
no,
but
and bring
then-
that joke back.
but then
And I
you-
would have been happy to see it even a second time.
Yeah, but then you would have probably deprived him from his best line there is, well, we're waiting.
We're waiting. Yeah, that, that's
crazy
a
eye.
classic line.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's true.
All right, yeah, but these are all good points about a very fun part of the movie.
And the greatest part of it is when he finally putts, and they just scream. They scream like in terror. That is
Yeah.
so funny.
It's great. That's what is it? Scrubs versus
What? Slobs versus snobs?
slobs versus
Scrub-
snobs. I'm sorry.
Okay. Scrubs.
Scrubs versus V Dubs? No, I don't know.
Wait, I'm doing some quick internet research because I just noticed for the first time, and maybe you guys already know this. What does Angie's shirt say there? Have you noticed his shirt?
No more Knight Rider shirt.
It's not a Knight Rider shirt. It is a yellow shirt with some kind of drawing on it, and I think it's.
Okay.
I'm going to tread lightly. It's got very what we would call Asian style writing, and all I can see of it is that I think it says "fuck foo,"
Oh, no way. Hold on a
but
second.
I don't have any confirmation of that. So
How did I
I'm gonna.
not already study this?
Or is it like you, like why you? Like fuck you.
Boy, did I do
you.
the wrong internet search. I just came up with lots of unsavory stuff. Oh boy, hang on a second.
Oh, I think it's yuck foo. It's probably yuck foo, wouldn't it
But
be?
that looks like an F at the like. That would make a lot of sense. That looks like an F to me though at the beginning. But that makes sense. That makes a lot
Yeah,
more
yuck
sense.
foo, and then you switch them over, and then you got
Yeah.
you got your joke.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
But that doesn't
Yeah, it
look
probably
like
is
a
yuck foo.
Y, though, does it?
I'm gonna say that it is yuck foo, and that the fold of the wrinkle in his shirt makes it look like a F or something. But I have
trying
no
to get
idea
a
what that
better
picture
angle.
is. Oh, it's
I'm
like some
going
kind of
through
like Buddha type fella. Everyone, just pause your players for a second while we figure this out.
Yeah, just doing some research here.
A screeching halt.
Yeah,
I just accidentally found tons of porn
I
around a girl
can't-
named Angie, so I gotta look at that for a while first.
Well, yeah,
Eh.
I can't tell, but it is a good point. I hadn't
Yeah.
noticed that before. His shirt says either fuck foo, or which doesn't make sense, or yuck foo,
No,
which does
yuck
make
foo
sense.
makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Huh, very interesting.
No,
This is the
you're not
kind of
wrong.
stuff that people aren't going to notice.
Unless
Peeling
you
the
watch
onion.
a movie 1 minute at a time.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, as we said, he makes his putt. Everyone goes nuts, especially his loving, adoring, supportive parents. This almost changes the entire movie for me, that they're here and that they're super excited.
Yeah.
Like, I've always noticed that woman. I forget if I said this on the air or not. I've always noticed that woman, but I never knew that she was his mom. I never recognized her as his mom, and I don't even
Well,
think I even noticed his dad.
Well, you'd be there and super excited too if your son was in some caddy tournament that is somehow linked to some college fund.
Yeah, ka-ching.
And it brings me to another point. Now, if the group was yelling "miss it, miss it," what do you think his dad would start laying people out right there?
Yeah, can we do something about this? We're crying
Like his
out
dad would
loud.
go bananas. I bust my ass. I work 5-6
Yeah.
jobs, and I got 17,000 kids at home, and,
Yeah.
and my only hope is that this kid can get some sort of a college fund, and just starts laying people out.
Yeah, my
Unless the
son's
dad-
shiftless attitude might finally pay off, and you guys are trying to mess him up.
Unless the dad very well knows, and he might be this kind of guy who realizes that, like, if it were the other way, he'd be the one doing it. And being of a lower class, he doesn't even recognize that there's anything wrong with it.
Right. He totally gets that they're doing it and why they're doing it, even
Yeah.
though he doesn't want them to.
Right.
Yeah. Now,
right.
to get back to a point that
Not
we
wrong.
brought up yesterday or something, I'm not wrong. I'm absolutely right. Okay, D'Annunzio seems like everything hinges on this putt. So it seems like D'Annunzio, if Danny had missed this putt, D'Annunzio either would have won or would have had a chance to win.
I think D'Annunzio would have tied him.
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah.
D'Annunzio doesn't even have to take his putt.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
D'Annunzio would have tied him.
Yeah, it looks like D'Annunzio would have had to make his putt if Danny missed it.
Yeah.
But wait a minute. No, I think this was because Mitchell says this one's for all the, this is for all
This one's
of-
for the gold or whatever.
This
Yeah.
is for the gold.
That still stands, though.
No, but if Danny missed it, then the game would have continued, right?
Right,
I guess
yeah.
I guess it's
No,
still
but
the
yeah,
idea.
getting it is the gold.
Yeah, D'Annunzio would have, his putt would have tied it. It's pretty clear because you
Yeah.
can't win by one stroke. D'Annunzio can't win by one stroke and also have his shot be pointless.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, speaking of Mitchell, so there he is. It's the same guy
Yeah, it
who
is.
was mad in the previous shot, who picked up his ball angrily.
Well,
He's-
by now, that could have been like halfway through the thing, and by now he's like, well, I'm not going to win this.
Well, but he
I'm just-
doesn't know whether he's going to get the tube socks or the tees, though. Maybe.
Well, no, he could be far enough behind that he knows he's getting the tees.
Yeah. Okay. He could be. But I'm just saying,
like-
he's still hanging in there. His shirt's completely unbuttoned.
Yeah.
But that's the question, is that Motormouth? It does not look like it is.
It doesn't?
No.
You don't think that looks like Motormouth?
No, I think if you blow that up, you'll see.
Oh my God.
It's. Although, wait a minute, he does have the Converse All-Stars.
Yeah, he's got
Shit.
the fashion sense. He's got the.
He doesn't
And by
have
the
his
way, he's
shorts,
super
though.
excited. He's super excited when Danny wins. He's being very supportive. God, am I starting to like Motormouth?
No.
Jesus.
Why would you
I
like
thought it was
Motormouth?
Mitchell.
I don't support
I
Danny.
mean Mitchell, my buddy Mitchell.
I
know.
think it's Motormouth. I take that back.
I think it is.
He's got the plaid. I think he's just wearing the plaid pants because it's a golf game, but he would normally be wearing shorts. And he's got the same Converse All-Stars, the Chuck Taylors, and it appears to be him.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know why.
And I'm stymied that I'm starting to have feelings for this man. Maybe I only hated him because he was stupid and like annoying.
I don't like him still.
Maybe I don't like people who are stupid and annoying. But whenever I see him sort of having a connection with Danny, and just being supportive of anybody, maybe I kind of like him. I
Well,
don't
you're
know.
an easy sell there.
I really
Taylor.
am. I'm a pushover.
Yeah.
That's why I voted for Trump. What?
Oh, of course you wouldn't do that. That's silly.
I would no.
That would
be
be
silly.
ridiculous.
Just can't stop, can we?
No, we're trying. We went a couple episodes. Yeah. We made a huge deal when they showed that when they had the array of trophies for the Caddy Tournament, like what the prizes were and everything. I
no
do not
prizes.
see his sleeve of golf balls there,
No.
Nope.
well, along with his trophy.
Yeah,
I mean, is he
they're gone.
getting ripped off or what?
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on here. Those are all
Well,
gone.
let's take a
the
step
crew
back,
socks
though.
are gone. The tees are gone.
Well, let's take a step back. After the sinking, we got that walk from the hole after he sinks the putt.
Yeah.
There's no one of the most excited people there is Judge Smails.
Yeah.
Right.
So there's that walk to the trophy table, right?
Right.
So let's talk about that.
Well, yeah,
We should.
because bring these two together, and I'm not sure if that's what you're trying to do here, but it's going to take a group longer to celebrate and all come over there than it is for a couple people to go by, grab their trophies, grab whatever loose stuff is there that they could get their hands on, and then get the hell out of there. By the time they get back to the table, there's only the trophy left, which they feel like they can't take.
Oh, maybe.
Just
Yeah.
one theory. That's one.
It's a ceremonial thing.
Right.
Yeah. But it sounds, Mike, like you want to talk about the actual walk.
Yeah.
Or do you?
Well, yeah, because there's dialogue there.
Yeah. We got Judge Smails.
Oh,
He
yeah,
hasn't
we're
been in
going
the
to get
movie
into
for a
that.
few minutes.
Don't
Yeah.
you worry.
All right,
Yeah.
I just didn't want to go all the way to the table.
Well, we
then-
skip around a little bit. That's going to be all right.
No, I've been here. I've been here for 42 episodes.
Great,
Yeah.
great little speech here. I love it. There's like a whole thing about
Top notch.
top notch.
Yeah.
And he's gonna have he's gonna christen his sloop.
And there is a moment that Judge Smails says something that's kind of comes across as perverse to me, where he
Uh-oh.
stops after he says, when he stops him and he goes, "How'd you like to mow my lawn?"
Right.
And this takes us to a story. Dan, you remember this story, right?
Oh, absolutely. Are we talking about the famous baseball player in the bar?
Who was the person that was?
Okay, now this is one of those stories where, of course, it's going to sound apocryphal, but I guess I don't know whether to say name. I'm not going to say any names, but I'll say
Why not?
that
People say the athlete's name all the time.
Do they? Okay. Well,
I dare you to
keep
say
in
it.
mind this is like a third. I love this story regardless, but it's like there's a couple of degrees of separation here. But there's a good friend of mine named Todd. He has a close friend, another guy. I had met him, and he has a story. So it's a story, a friend of a friend's story, where he went into a bar.
Was it?
And he
Was it
sees
in
a famous.
Was it in Chicago?
No, this was in
Okay.
New York. Big Yankee fan. And this was
Yeah.
when this famous player was playing for the Yankees. He played for a few different teams. And this famous ball player was there getting loaded. He was sort of famous as a guy who could drink a lot.
And I think we had started talking about this because I had gone to meet some friends at Mother's Bar here in Chicago, which is a horrible tourist place
God.
where all people who come into town go, and it's like where they have bachelor parties and bachelorette parties. So I went there with my friend who was meeting some people in town, and there this ball player was at the bar, could barely stand up, and this is after he had won a World Series championship with the Yankees.
Yeah.
Going to the Hall of Fame. And he's just a guy, and he's just ornery. He's just sitting there, and he could barely stand up. And someone, of course, guys are surrounding him and trying to talk to him, and he wants to take swings at people. So that kind of started the conversation, and Dan told me this story. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So the guy goes in, and he sees that this gentleman, famous baseball player, is talking to this woman, and he's a big fan, so he knows me. So what I'm going to do is, the ball player leaves. He leaves for some reason, apparently to go to the bathroom. So he said, what I'll do is I'll slide into his spot in the bar, and I'll strike up a conversation with the woman, and that way when he comes back, I'll get to meet him. So he's sitting there talking to this woman. He says this attractive blonde he was talking to. He's talking to her. Finally, he's a tap on the shoulder. He turns around, and it's this famous ball player, and he just looks him right in the eye and goes, "Quit mowing my lawn."
Anyway, yeah. So that's and
hysterical.
so when Smails says this here, how'd you like to mow my lawn? It sounds perverse to me.
It's hard not to think of that story.
How'd you like
But-
to loof on my wife's stretch marks?
But it's not even. It's that
one's a
story
little more
pops into
forward.
my head. That story pops into my head, but just the way he says it, because they're walking and he stops and looks right at him and is like, "How would you like to mow my lawn?"
Oh,
If you
my
know what I
Lord.
mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His
Nudge,
wife is
nudge.
right there. It'd be funny
Yeah.
if she just goes, "I'm
she
right
doesn't know.
here."
Yeah. Excuse me, Allahu.
And then he says, "Well, it's our lawn, isn't it, honey?"
Yes. That lawnmower goes both ways, doesn't it?
It's a pretty.
How'd you like a
creepy
fresca?
line.
Yeah.
Right.
How about a fresca?
Quit
Now,
mowing my lawn.
Does he know? Does Judge Smails know? Is he at all aware that Danny is expecting to be invited to the? That based on Judge Smails' build-up about talking about the sloop and everything. By the way, I want him to be the only person to use the word sloop.
Right.
It sounds like a very Judge Smails.
Yeah, they're the first
hoity-toity
people
word.
since the Beach Boys. He's the first person since Brian Wilson to use that.
Nobody says sloop anymore, Judge Smails. But is he at all aware that Danny Noonan is expecting now to be invited to the yacht club?
No, I think he's
yeah.
just a clue. He's a guy who is unaware that he's sounding like he's about to invite him, but in the end, the idea is, I would never invite somebody like this to this party.
Right.
Yeah. And he's
But
not
maybe
even
if he
he's not
successfully
trying
mows
to
my
fake him
lawn.
out. In other words, he's just sort of saying,
Yeah.
"Hey, I got some great news for you. I'm going to be
Right.
I'm going to be christening my sloop. How'd you like to mow my lawn while I'm doing it?" I love it.
Okay, but then is he then covering by then saying, when you're done, why don't you stop by the club, or was that part of his plan all along too?
I think he's being funny.
Okay. Oh, you do?
Yeah, I
Even
think
with
he's
the mowing
got.
the lawn part?
Yeah, no, I think he wants him to mow his lawn, but I think
Yeah.
he has all intentions of inviting him anyways.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
So
that-
it's his
you may
way
be
of
right there,
saying,
Mike.
It's
Yeah.
his way of saying, because he does say, college boy like yourself could earn a few extra bucks and then come over to the club after.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That could
And
be.
he's
Yeah,
and
well.
he's not the only one to use. What about Hang On Sloopy?
That's
the
true.
McCoys.
Oh,
Yeah.
Was that before or after the Beach Boys covered
Is that a
Sloop
reference
John
to
B?
a boat?
No, it was a song, Hang On Sloopy, Sloopy Hang On.
Well, it doesn't count
1964.
if it's not the sloop, the word sloop, and it's a reference to a boat.
I know,
I
but
think
it's
Tom's
sloopy.
criteria would be that it would be a reference to a boat.
Yeah, yeah. Chris
Well,
and
maybe,
my sloop. That sounds
but maybe,
like only
maybe the
something he would say.
McCoys wrote this song about being on their sloop in a very massive thunderstorm, and they're hanging on, and they're just telling their boat, just hang on, Sloopy, hang on.
Oh, I don't know. I'll have to look into
I'm not
the song
wrong.
meaning of that one.
I think we should
not
just
wrong.
decide that's true, given that I've never listened to the lyrics of that song.
Let's look it up. Hang on, Sloopy lyrics.
They never,
'cause-
yeah, they weren't like exactly like the Smiths. They weren't really particularly asking to be listened to those lyrics.
Right. They just want you to hang on.
Well, hold on.
There is a lot of powder blue in this shot. You can see there's an old guy with a powder blue pair of pants. There's another guy
Yeah.
who
God, there
apparently is
really
wearing
is.
a full suit of powder blue. Might be denim. You got
Yeah.
Judge, who also is fully decked out in powder blue, and then Lou Loomis's shirt is that exact shade of powder blue. It's
And
just
Danny's mom.
splashed with powder blue.
Danny's mom is in a powder
It
blue
looks
shirt.
like a Royals game from the mid '80s.
That's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
These people know how to. There's one woman in this shot with like a not quite a beehive, but like her hair is weirdly done up, and she looks kind of almost anachronistic. Like, wait, even in like 1980, would anybody be doing that? That seems a little weird.
Right. She's one of these people that's, oh, yeah, I
And that
see.
red dress, that red
And
sleeveless
that's a
jumpsuit thing.
60s kind of do, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Like unless
Yeah.
she's like 90 or something, and she's she's
Yeah.
just had that hairdo since
She
the
looks
60s.
a bit like Debbie Mazar's character from The Goodfellas.
Yeah, yeah. She's
something
cutting
like
some
that.
coke as soon as this is over.
Yeah.
Oh, what does Danny hand to
His card.
Brian Doyle Murray? That's his.
That's his scorecard because he has
Okay.
he has to verify it.
Does
But
he
he's been
get
keeping his own
paid
score
for
the whole time?
caddying his own game?
No. It's a scorecard that's being kept for him. I think he has to. I don't know who's keeping the score for him,
Right.
but that's his official scorecard to say here's what I shot.
But then what's Brian Doyle Murray doing with the with that like clipboard the whole time? I thought he was keeping score.
I
or
don't know.
something.
It's just maybe it's just you turn it in at the end to make it official. I don't
Oh,
know.
right.
Maybe we'll get
Fine.
Maybe we'll get another call. Is there any lights on the board, Tom?
No, not right now.
Oh, we got any
It's cold
callers?
right now,
Oh,
but-
okay. No,
No
but
callers?
yeah, maybe
We're
that
recording
the-
at a weird time.
Well,
Maybe
Kevin
that-
from Plymouth, who's our I think he'll be like our our golf expert here, our golf pro.
yeah.
If he could call in and maybe let us know, is this what would happen?
anytime
Kevin,
we
if
have a
you're listening-
golf-related question.
Yeah. Yes.
But
Kevin, if you're out there, just,
specifically
please
if
call
you're
in.
listening, if you're driving to and from Carl's Golfland, you could see,
Yeah.
give us a call and let us know.
But
Yeah.
in lieu of a more professional analysis, I'll say that I think that the caddy card kind of verifies the score or corroborates it or
Yeah.
something, and it could be something like that where since Danny has caddied his own game, he's handing it in just to make sure he's got that it's all official and
Yeah.
Lou's going to go take it down, or it could be
Or
a
maybe
betting
it's
slip
his,
for all I know.
or maybe it's his results of his physical. You have to have a physical.
Right,
His doctor
yeah.
signed
Yeah.
off on it and said, here.
Right.
Yeah.
He is the healthiest caddy in the history of the world.
I was healthy enough to play in this tournament that I just finished.
Yeah.
Now you know. Yeah. Do you think there's any kind of bragging rights? Not bragging rights, exactly, but like, do you think there's anything to like being a caddy in the caddy tournament and caddying for yourself? Is there any like here? I'm a true caddy. I'm caddying for myself even when I'm the one golfing.
I liked your original take on it, which is that nobody likes him,
Was that my take?
and for good reason. Maybe that was Mike.
Right.
It was me.
I get you and the new Mike mixed up. It's kind of a weird
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
The New
I never
Year's-
would have done that last year.
My newly
Mike and I
re-
are starting to blend.
yeah. No. He means my newly resolved Mike.
Yeah.
And first of
exactly.
all, it's Michael again. It's Michael.
Oh, it is Michael again. Okay.
Takes notes, all the rest of it. So, like in the last thing, I don't remember who mentioned that thing because
Yeah.
it was the same
But I
kind
mean, he's
of
got
insight.
opinions on Spock now. He's taking notes. He's I'm getting a little nervous. I mean, I like it, but the world is getting slippery under my feet.
Well, one of
Yeah,
my
this-
resolutions was to make sure I take my medication, so maybe that's helping.
oh, okay.
That's good. Yeah.
There you go.
That's something you owe to all of us. And
Yeah, I owe that to society at large.
yeah, this is like one of those, like a sitcom or something, where it's where we want the old Mike back, even though there's this ironic thing of we want the old ornery version back.
You need.
And I feel like that's
you
been
need
like the
old,
subject of
you know.
sitcoms and stuff. Where
Yeah,
Well,
we
if you
spent
don't-
20 minutes with the new Mike, who was like a party animal, and he introduced a lot of fun into our lives. But then we realized that it's taking a toll on either us or him, and so now we want the old Mike back.
Well,
yeah, it's
And
like
everything's reset.
when Bart Simpson got hooked on Focusin, that drug, and we wanted the old Bart Simpson back.
Yeah. Focus like a laser beam.
Focusin,
No, it's
great.
focusing. No, it's quite a conundrum, because if you want this podcast to be picked up for a second season, you need that old Michael back.
Yeah, right. People
Yeah.
come to watch that old Michael.
Right.
And it's fun
What's
to
he
watch a
gonna do
new
this
Michael
week?
for 20 minutes, but yeah.
What will he do this week? Well, I'm taking notes, people. That's what I'm doing. I'm taking notes. I'm taking my medication. Everything is
Nerd.
great.
Tom and I had met with the bigwig producers right before the show, and they said, we like the show, but is there anything you can do? This is not what we had the handshake agreement about, and before we present you with the actual contract, we need to know what's going on with this guy. And we said, well, we'll work
Yeah.
on it. We'll work on it.
Right.
We'll
Because
talk
they wanted to
him.
spin Mike off into his own podcast, but they're like, well, hey, not the party animal Mike. We need the regular Mike that everybody tunes in for.
Right. It'd be the Joni and Chachi to our Caddyshack Minute. It would be called
Yeah.
No One Likes Mike.
No one likes the new Mike.
Yeah, but see, now they've created their own monster, because they came to you in the middle of this first season and said, you got to tone him down a little bit. So you guys, so I started taking the meds and everything.
Yeah, we
like
said,
that.
this is what you wanted.
Yeah, and now, now I'm getting a little too, I'm too much like you now, taking notes and being relaxed. And now they pulled you aside and said, well, maybe you should start hiding his meds again.
Yeah,
Right,
so we
right.
have a tough decision to make.
Yeah.
We know that they can't have half a mic, that we're going to have to
No.
make a decision. We either keep you as a shadow of your former self, or we shoot you in the ass like a bull right before a bull fight
Yeah,
and get you going again.
yeah. Instead,
I
you
frankly
guys,
don't know what to
said, I'm like B.A. Baracus, and you had to sedate me before you put me on a plane.
I feel like I know where this is going to go, and that Dan and I are going to learn a valuable lesson about not selling our friends' health, mental stability out for a TV show.
Well, in the
It'll be too late.
listeners' hole, they can start taking the over under on what minute it's going to be that I lose it.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
Let's
Well,
put up a
it's
poll
like-
on that one, maybe.
This
Well,
is
let's
what,
not.
42? Yeah, we've got to, it'll be well before the end of the movie. I don't want to sway the voting. I'm not going to say what I think.
Well,
what
it's
gonna
60.
be.
We're at 40 right now. It goes
Well,
about
you-
99 minutes, so there's about 50 minutes left. So let's say the over-under is about 65.
Okay.
About 65, okay.
I'll take the under.
All right. Or you're going to think, okay, sure.
You're not
I
wrong.
have to think about it some more.
Yeah,
I'm thinking about minute 43.
right.
It could be it. This is gonna
Not
end
much else
badly.
to say on this one. They're gathered
No.
around. Danny's mom's about to take a Polaroid picture.
Yeah. Well, that's next minute. Come on. Settle down.
Well, she's about to.
Well, do we know that? Oh,
Yeah.
do we see her with her
Yeah,
camera?
she holds
Oh,
up the
okay.
camera, and Danny passes his card to Lou Loomis. The card says,
Yeah.
"Do you like me? If yes, check this
Check
box."
Check yes.
Yeah.
It says Judge Smails just asked me to mow his lawn. What does that mean?
I wonder
Yeah.
if you just brought up a good point. I wonder if since that's just a prop, the piece of paper, that the actors would write like something funny on it and
Yeah.
pass it to like
I
Michael
think it's got
O'Keefe
the-
wrote
Yeah.
maybe if he'd do you like me, check a box, and then handed it to Brian Doyle Murray.
Yeah.
Right.
Just in the movie, and so he get a little laugh.
Yeah.
Or it's got that the guy that the dude stenciled at the Big Lebowski when Jackie Treehorn walks by the pad and starts writing. It's my favorite moment, maybe of any movie.
He's on the phone and
For no reason, you think he's writing something important down, and then he goes and stencils it later. It's just the guy with the dog. It's the funniest. Like what? I love that they made a big deal out of that. It's the greatest thing ever. I think it's either that guy or it says, that he said mow my lawn. Does he mean that euphemistically?
Right. Or just simply, Ted Knight just grabbed my ass. No? Okay.
Yeah, I
Or
don't
it
know.
just says-
That's a good.
or it just says Ted Knight never laughs.
Yeah.
Why doesn't he
Please
get
make
this?
Ted Knight laugh.
I hate this movie. Get me out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
This is a long
won't
time
like
ago.
it for another 25 years.
Yeah, I've got other things that I'm going to do, and people are still going to talk about this
Or
movie.
maybe
to
he
me.
wrote the joke,
Right.
I hate this movie, get me out of here, signed Ted Knight. And handed it to Brian so they could have a little laugh.
I just found this in my golf bag, signed by Ted Knight.
All right.
That's great.
Yeah, this is. I think we're getting into like again. I say this every minute, but we're right at the foot of another.
Yeah, it's tricky. It's tough.
Gold,
it's tough when you want to be talking about the next minute.
Yeah, the next
So
one.
here's what we do. Here's what we do. We
Sure.
end this minute, and
Get
then we
some
come
rest.
back next time and talk about the minute we want to talk about.
Get some
Because we
rest. We
talked
go
about
to
this minute
work.
already.
Yeah.
Make some money.
Yeah.
Take our meds.
God knows we're not making a dime off of this thing.
No.
Holy smokes.
Which
Not that
brings
we've
us
asked
to
for
our big ask. Hey, listeners, give us some money.
Yeah, right.
You want more
Yes.
minutes? Give us more cash.
Yeah. We're a
Right.
subscription now, $10 per episode. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we
Put
got a
that in your hat.
GoFundMe going.
Yeah.
Right. Our old
And
site,
please mow our
Go Fund
lawn.
Yourself, was not working.
Well, I hate to say
Yuck
that.
foo on yourself.
Go Fund Yourself.
I'm telling you, I'm sad to say that the Sloopy in the song is not a boat. It's
Oh.
actually a girl, a woman.
That's what I always assumed.
Oh, right.
Hang on.
She sounds very sexy.
Yeah.
With the
hang
name
on, Sloopy.
That does.
Sloopy, hang on. Hang
Yeah.
on,
What's she
Sloopy.
hanging on to?
Sloopy, hang on. Sloopy lives in a very bad part of town, and everybody else there tries to put my Sloopy down. Sloopy, I don't care what your daddy do, because you know, Sloopy girl, I'm in love with you.
Oh.
Nice.
So it's not a boat. So
It's just a supportive boyfriend,
yeah.
or at least a suitor. Mm-hmm. I like Mike's dramatic readings of pop songs.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, we had
Maybe,
Boogie Wonderland a few minutes ago.
Oh,
It's good.
Maybe
I'm glad you mentioned that.
Me too.
I'm
suddenly.
really. Do you know? I was listening to Boogie Wonderland. Is ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba-ba, that little horn part?
Yeah, right. Ringo, play something hot.
Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba. Now go listen to Crosstown Traffic by Hendrix.
Oh, sure.
So every time I listen to that, I immediately, whenever I'm doing Boogie Wonderland, I immediately go to the breakdown right after that. Ba 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 ba. You
Yeah.
jump in front of my
That's
car,
funny.
and I immediately go into Crosstown Traffic. I'm glad
Yeah.
you said that, Tom, because I
See?
had that in my notes.
Oh, see? Well,
I
then you
did,
shouldn't
right
need
there.
for me to say it. You can just say it. You don't need me to cue you
It
up. if
says
you got
right
it in your
here, it
notes.
says Boogie Wonderland, Crosstown Traffic, go. In other words,
That's
discuss.
awesome.
So is that a well-known kind of
No,
plagiarism type of thing?
no, I don't. I think it's maybe just an arrangement of.
It just kind
Notes.
of lands similarly for a
Yeah.
couple of bars there.
Well,
Yeah.
while we're talking about this, and I know people talk endlessly about Led Zeppelin ripping off people, but no one ever says anything. And I'm not a student of Led Zeppelin, so I don't know what the name of the song is. But I just know that somebody
Dazed
did
and
a great Baba
Confused.
Booey version of it on the Howard Stern show. But it's 100% 25 or 6 to 4 by Chicago.
Oh, there's a lot. That's a very common
na.
line for whatever reason.
Is it?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's
Well, then
in
it's a phrase.
lots of songs. It's in.
Is it really? That's kind of disappointing.
Yeah, it's a common phrase. It's a common.
Yeah, it's a common phrase. It's also, I want to say it's in Seven Nation Army. Very similar. Isn't that right?
Kinda.
I don't know.
Not quite.
I think it is.
It's similar. It's like,
No, but do you know one
Oh, it's also
modern?
Green Day has a song like that.
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, never mind. I thought I had some.
Maybe I'm wrong there, but what? Go ahead. What were
I
you
think
gonna
you're
say
right.
there? What were you gonna say there, Mike?
Well, that's Tom. The song. It's Dazed and Confused. They took it right from. There's a Jake Holmes, who was an acoustic act, wrote the song Dazed and Confused,
Yeah.
and they just lifted it completely. The Yardbirds lifted it directly from him,
Oh, wow.
and they actually had to
Oh,
pay him
yeah.
after because they.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a
Including-
well-known.
Including lyrics and everything. This was not even.
Yeah, they changed it a little. I mean, the song is a little bit different, but it's "I'm Dazed and Confused." It's the same, and then the rest of the verse is a little bit different, but the song it's essentially the same song.
Yeah,
Wow.
been dazed and confused so long, it's not true, whatever it is. It's like the same lyrics and everything. And it even goes do 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 do.
It's the same song.
Yeah.
It's the same arrangement.
Wow.
Yeah. They
And
just
another
That's
thing-
Frank
swiped it.
Parker and Huey Lewis.
There's another Bruno Mars. It totally rips off Morris Day and the Time, and nobody's talking about it.
Oh, really?
Jungle Love. I don't know the song, but it's on the radio all the time. And it's Jungle Love. It's the same thing.
Wow.
I'm listening on it's the back of my head. I'm like, oh wee oh.
Yeah.
It's the
is
same
it
song,
the
and I
time
do
song?
searches for.
From Morris Day and the Time, yeah.
Yeah, Morris Day and the
okay.
Time. In the time, Bruno Mars.
Uptown Funk.
Uptown Funk is
Oh.
it is Jungle Love. It's the same
boy.
phrasing. It's everything.
Wow.
Is Morris Day going to do something about this? I mean,
But nobody's talking. I listen to it and I go crazy in the car with my kids, and they're like, shut up. And I'm like, no, it's the same song. And I listen to it. I go, listen, it's the same song.
they
I was very
look at each
impressed.
other. What you don't ever hear is that they're looking at each other, rolling their eyes once every time you do it. Like when Harry Shearer brings up the skeletons of Quinto in.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was very impressed with myself when I recognized without anybody else saying it when that Alan Thicke Jr. What was the guy's name?
Robin
Thicke.
Robin Thicke. His huge that you know. I was like,
Marvin
this sounds
Gaye.
exactly like that Marvin Gaye song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said that without anybody pointing it out to me, and I felt like I was a genius.
Now,
like I
there was a
musical
settlement there, right?
Yeah, he had to pay him.
There was, yeah. No, they finally got sued big time, and there was some settlement. Yeah.
One that hit me right away was if you listen to Yoshimi Battles, the Pink Robots, the Flaming Lips album.
Flaming Lips.
Yeah.
And I'm a big Cat Stevens fan, but they, right when I heard the song, like the moment I heard it, it was very obvious that they'd ripped off the melody of the part. Is it Father and Son? The song, I know it's from T for the Tillerman. The
What
Cat
song
Stevens
on
album.
what song by the Flaming
It's
Lips?
the first one. I thought I was right. I thought it better not to fight. I thought it was a virtue for always being cool. Anyway. It's the same exact lyrical line. Like the melody's the same for bars, and like
wow.
so much so that I recognized it the first time I heard the song. I instantaneously went, "Wait a minute, that's the Cat Stevens song that goes into." And it turns out, I'm gonna have to look this up to confirm it, but it turns out that he got sued for that. I think Wayne Coyne
really?
got sued, and Wayne Coyne I think listened to it and was like, "Oh. Of course it's the same." I don't know. I didn't notice. Like maybe I think it was one of those things where like he genuinely didn't realize he was taking it from something, or you know what I mean. Maybe it was stuck in his head or something. I have to look it up. I feel like I'm talking on my
That's
ass
funny.
on this thing, but yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Oh, there's
You're not wrong.
you're not wrong. I said that's the
might be
that leads
wrong, it's
into
a
you're not
problem.
wrong, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
Yeah,
That's
you're not
horrible.
wrong.
But there's the Kraftwerk has been raked over the like people just pick apart Kraftwerk. There's that Coldplay. I don't know any Coldplay songs, but I've heard it on the radio, and it's got the da 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 da, which is just note for note is a Kraftwerk song.
Oh,
And it drives
Computer
me
Love.
Bananas. Yeah, it is. It's Computer Love. Yeah.
I love that album, man.
Well, Coldplay also got in trouble for lifting that the song. Their biggest song is a Joe Satriani riff.
Oh, great.
And Satriani went after him. I don't know if they settled it or not, but what's their
wow.
what's their main song? Their big song?
I don't
I
even
know nothing by Coldplay. I mean,
Yes, me neither.
Oh,
they're
you're talking
completely
about
repellent.
clocks or something?
No, it's the people are screaming at us right now because they know.
Yeah.
Oh,
Everybody-
Yeah, well, they can,
No, I mean,
Scream into
I
the
mean-
listener's hole.
No, I mean they're screaming the name of the song.
Yeah.
Oh. Well,
They're
we could
frustrated
take-
with us
We
and
could
our
take a
lack
caller.
of
Do we have
knowledge.
any callers?
No, the boards are
Oh, boy,
dim right now.
all right.
Well, if
Sorry.
the way Joe Satriani's career ran, he's probably listening. He's probably
Yeah.
listening. He'd be calling in right away.
Only people with
Please call
failed
in.
careers are listening to the show.
Yeah.
We're not going to give you the number to call in, but please do. Let us know.
All right.
And then the obvious one, of course, is that Killing Joke song,
Oh, that
80s.
I'm sorry.
And Nirvana.
Viva la vida.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah, the
Oh.
famous Nirvana song, right?
No. This is
Well,
Coldplay.
he's still talking about the.
Coldplay. It's Viva
Oh.
Via la vida. Viva la vida.
Oh, okay.
It's their main song. That's the one that. But it was dismissed. The judge dismissed it. But if you
Oh,
look up
really?
YouTube, there's a bunch of mashups on YouTube that compare the two.
Nah,
So moving on. I'm sorry. Go
bunch
ahead.
of bums.
You
Oh, but
can't
yeah,
get away
like
with this anymore. Someone's going to get it and they're going to put it on YouTube. They'll mash it up.
Yeah.
yeah.
The world will
beautiful.
never let you get away with one
That's
of
why
these
you.
anymore.
That's why you can't punch people anymore. Because the minute you punch somebody, you look
Yeah.
up and everybody's got their phones up.
Everybody
Yeah.
got the phones and the papers, yeah.
Mike hasn't punched me once since cell phones and smartphones and
Well,
everything.
but you guys haven't gotten together, to be fair.
That's true. Everybody looks like he may have
the
punched
person
me.
I usually. Yeah, we haven't been together since cell phones got popular.
That's right.
That's right. Why don't you just have some dinner or something?
Yeah, we gotta do that. We'll figure
Just
that
have a
out.
nice dinner.
All right.
Yeah, we will.
If we must.
I feel like
will
this is
figure
what
it out.
happens when you get far away from, I feel like I'm away from my home, which is the Midwest. And I've been here for 10 years, and I feel like I'm on vacation still. But what you think is like, oh, if I were there, I'd be hanging out with you guys every week
Well, that's
in
Right.
my
good.
head.
Yeah,
But we
I
did
have a lot
that
of
anyways.
friends like
You
that.
were, but Dan and I hung out all the time anyways. Tom, we
That's true.
would hang out periodically.
Right, right. I don't,
We had-
I
we
don't
had-
get out of my house much.
We had Tigers games, and this is another reason why I feel like, Tom, later on when maybe you and your son go through times where you don't have as much to talk about, like if you have baseball, you
Or a
always
sport.
got something to talk about. Baseball,
Yeah.
your politics, things like that.
Well, I keep trying to layer on the nerdlinger realms with him. Like we just started watching Doctor Who, so if Star Wars ever fades out, we will have
Yeah,
Doctor
but the thing
Who
is,
for
though,
that
Tom,
much longer.
I think what Dan is saying is with a sport, you have a calendar, you have a season
Yeah,
that is
yeah.
reoccurring and it's new.
That's
so that
true.
I had this with my dad. We had a hard time communicating, but we would always talk about the Italian soccer team. So we'd always
Okay.
follow the World Cup, the European Championship, and whatever. So that was every 2 years, on and off. We would be talking about the tournament. So that would
Right.
be, you give a calendar to that interlocks your connection with each other.
Yeah.
Right.
What are you going to say? Oh, let's go watch Rogue One again?
Yeah, right.
You know?
It's
And
either
I'm not
always
saying-
nerd season or never nerd season.
Right.
Right.
And
That's a
because
good
I'm
point.
because I'm sticking with my New Year's resolution, trying to be a little more sensitive. And I'm not saying you're wrong. It's good that you have
You're
that.
saying I'm not wrong.
It's good that you have that nerdlinger connection with your son and you can build it. And I hope it
Yeah.
goes. But I'm just saying to have a connection, because the connection also goes to your country. In my dad's case, it was it was to Italy. But if you're watching the Tigers with Dan and I, it connects us back to our city. So you're in
Yeah.
Chicago with your son. That's why I go back to the missed opportunity on Father's Day at the Cubs game with
Yeah.
your son.
Yeah.
Say it's like,
You
because
went
this
to see
becomes
Raiders of the Lost Ark again,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
just going to meld into every other Raiders of the Lost Ark time you went and saw it.
Without my son, by the way, he hasn't
Without-
even seen it yet.
Oh.
I can't talk to him about that at all.
Oh my! See what I'm saying here?
Oh, so you
Yeah.
went to see Raiders of the Lost Ark on Father's Day without your son.
Right. Yeah.
Oh,
I
If you
ignored
watch
being a
the
father.
movie Field of Dreams, you'll see how important it is to play catch with your dad or your
I
son.
don't wanna.
Yeah.
To the point
Although
where
that
every
movie is crap.
it is
That's what I'm
crap.
saying. Do I have
It's-
to watch that to get
like-
like
it's
that
like-
movie?
It's like Mitch Albom wrote it.
You know what bugs me about that movie is that everyone. I'm a huge baseball fan. Everybody knows it, and they always think I'm going to like the movie.
Oh,
when in
that's
fact
horrible.
they've brought up a movie that I cannot stand for a whole
Yeah.
bunch of reasons, baseball and otherwise.
Oh, you must love Field of Dreams. You like
Yeah,
baseball.
exactly. You must love Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
I go, no, absolutely not. It's
I
crap.
actually-
and
I'd
then they get
rather
this
watch-
look on their face like, oh, I'm talking to the wrong person. I shouldn't be talking to this guy.
Right.
No,
He's
you're
just
talking
this
to the right
angry
person.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he liked baseball.
I'd
but
rather
clearly
watch
he doesn't.
the Comrades of Summer with Joe Montana.
I would watch Comrades of Summer 6 times on Sunday before I'd watch Field of Dreams.
Bad
If you
News
ever want to
Bears.
watch, if you ever want to
Love
watch a
Bad News
game
Bears.
about professional sports, where none of the actors can actually do anything that the
Caddyshack?
sport entails. No, I'm saying you have a team. You have players that do not know how to play the game, act like actors that cannot play
Yeah.
baseball, and that's the Comrades of Summer.
Comrades of Summer
It's
was real
fantastic,
bad.
but it's fantastically bad.
It's criminal, yeah. Also, what's his name? Anthony Perkins as Jimmy Pearsall in Fear Strikes Out. Is just that guy's never played baseball, and it's really they should not have tried to get away with that. I mean, it just doesn't takes you right out of the movie.
I'm sure
What
I'd
is
be
the-
appalled.
What is the best one, Mike, to continue on with conversation that Tom has no hope of having with us?
Yeah.
What is the one that has the best baseball in it, you think?
You have to think about that one
Yeah, that is a good.
because usually there's holes in everyone.
Yeah, there's holes in all of them for sure.
I mean, but you have a mixture like Major League. You have a mixture of because they had some ex-players playing like the nondescript players.
Yeah, overall,
and you
Major
would-
League's
and you
pretty
would
good,
see
I'd
them-
say.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Like Harris, for instance, is no good, but Charlie Sheen looks really pretty professional.
Yeah, but there's
And
but there's
the
a
guy
lot
who
of
plays
problems with that
Pedro.
movie to begin with, though.
Well, of course. Yeah.
With baseball, I mean, if you're going to the one game playoff to get into the what's the last game? The game they have to win to get into the playoffs.
They
or
got to
get to
win the
World
pennant,
Series?
right?
Oh, to win the pennant. that you're
Yeah.
going to let your aging pitcher go into the ninth inning
No, yeah, there's
with a
no
one-run
way.
lead.
And you're also not going to play. You're also not going to put on a bunt play with your catcher.
No.
Don't even get me started.
Yeah, and
Is
if
this
your
the
There's
one
coach
no
where
way
says,
Tom Berenger is going to be able to beat out a bunt like that.
Is this the one
Yeah.
where they get to play at the Astrodome before they go to Japan?
no, that's the
Christ.
Bad News Bears,
Oh, I'm sorry.
which
That's
is a great
one.
that's a great
I love
baseball
that movie. Kelly Leak.
Kelly Leak. I don't know what he's talking about, but I like him. He's
Not
got balls.
Butterworth. Buttermaker.
Buttermaker. Yeah.
Oh, it's a fantastic
That's a great
movie.
That
movie.
movie's incredible.
A
Yeah,
bunch
love
of
it.
swearing too, just swearing.
Yeah.
And drinking.
Yeah, I mean, we get nervous about like jokes in this movie and Caddyshack, but there are lines we would not be able to refer to in that movie,
Now, I remember-
spoken
now,
by
okay.
10-year-old kids.
Okay, that just sparred. I think we should end on this because I think I'll cry after this one.
Okay,
Uh-oh.
this will be good. Get
That
close to the
you
mic.
This
just-
is going to be great.
You just, I just had a flashback. So Bad News Bears, and the second Bad News Bears is when they go. No, they only did. The
Bad News
Astrodome
Bears
was in-
2 is the Astrodome.
Yeah.
Okay, so that one.
Let
so
them
that
play.
One, yeah, let them play. So I remember watching that movie. So my mom and dad separated when I was little,
Uh-oh.
and my
Jody's there.
and it was so my mom and dad separated. My dad was had a landscape company, and one of his clients was this apartment complex. And I remember going over to my dad's apartment in the apartment complex that they would do the landscaping on. And it was my first time over there. I remember, and it was like all weird,
Yeah.
you know. And I was
Transitional
why-
place for
I'm like,
singles.
yeah, like why the hell aren't you at home?
Right.
You know, why are you
Yeah.
here? And why is the chair from home here?
Oh my
yeah.
god.
It's like being in a
there only-
dream.
yeah, and like why is there
Yeah.
just one? Why is there one chair and nothing else in this room?
Right.
And I remember sitting on the floor while we ordered some food, and I watched this second Bad News Bears, in the one chair in the living room,
Oh my god.
Right.
in my dad's transitional place for singles.
Oh.
Wow.
And I was like, "Why are you here?" Because he used to take me to work.
Yeah.
And
why am I here? And
yeah,
what's
why-
going on?
Why are we staying in one of the apartments on the place that we would go plant the flowers at?
Oh, boy.
But I remember sitting
That
there
is sad.
in the one chair, and then when my dad came in with the dinner, I let him sit in the chair and I sat on the floor.
Wow.
Yeah, Bad
And
News
was there-
Bears too.
Was there any explanation? Was there like, or was it just like played off totally as like,
Oh, I don't
hey, you get to
remember.
come over here and watch Bad News Bears?
No, he was doing a good job. He took me to
Okay.
Toys R Us right before, so I had some toys to play with.
All right.
Oh,
That's
okay.
that's how from parenting 101 is you always butter them up with some toys.
Oh, sure.
Before
Yeah.
you give them some news like that.
Heck, even I know
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Of course. You put on a Bad News Bears movie, you get some toys,
Yeah.
and you break the bad news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why they call the movie that, actually.
Yeah. It's called Mike
It was-
DiMaria
I think that's-
Breaking Training.
Expressly for that purpose. It was made for that reason.
And I just think my dad looked through the TV guide and said, "Oh, Bad News Bears. That'll be a good time to tell him."
Right.
Yeah. This will stick with him for years.
Yeah, and then the TV guide had said, a movie made by a group of psychologists from Caltech
Yes.
as a weight.
for bringing bad news to children.
Yeah. And I think that line, let them play, is reinforcing to a young child that you can still play.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just
that's
because
good.
mommy
Things
and
look
daddy are
down.
living in separate places, you can still play, and they will let you play.
Yeah.
Right.
See? And then you get to go to Japan.
Yeah.
I wonder if
after
it would ever make sense to put on a really sad movie if you're about to give your kid really good news. Like, you're about to say, hey, we're going to Wally World or something.
Right.
But
Or
then
you put
you put
on-
on Old Yeller first just to calm it down.
Right.
Just to
Or
bring
you
him
put
down.
on Schindler's List and you watch that with your kid. And then when it's over and says, "I got bad news, but it's not that bad."
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. I got
It's not
bad
Auschwitz.
news.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm just living over here, and your mom's living over there.
Yeah, it's not ordinary people. Come
Well,
on.
I think it's just good parenting to always put on a buffer movie that counterbalances whatever news that you're going to give your kid.
Yeah. Yeah, there are
If you have
websites
some
that
neutral news like, hey, we're going to need to go shopping before we go to the park, then you just put on a neutral movie.
Yeah.
Like Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah.
But I still
goes down
remember
easy.
I remember the toy because I went to the store and I bought. It was a Jaws toy, So
my
it
God.
was from the movie because it said it was, and it was like you had to get stuff out of the mouth before the,
Oh my
the jaws
God.
closed.
That's some tough merchandising.
I remember that thing.
Yeah.
I remember having a
Yeah.
long talk with my parents about that because Santa didn't get it for me for Christmas, and I was like, "How come he didn't get that for me?" And they're like, "Well, they thought maybe it was a little. He thought it was a little violent or something." I'm like, "Well,
It's a shark.
it's a shark, and you get
It's a
stuff out of
shark,
his
for
mouth.
Christ's
It's
Yeah,
like
you get stuff out
eating
of the
you.
mouth
Shark's
before.
part of the real
yeah.
world.
Yeah, and this is a fun
That's
way
incredible.
to get around
You just
that.
said that.
Yeah, so
Holy
I sat
shit,
on the
I've
floor.
never even heard of that toy.
Yeah.
That's a tough toy. That's a tough movie to be like, oh, these kids will get into this like man-eating shark.
The kids love the movie. Now they get to play with the toys.
Right? Yeah.
There's the,
Mommy.
you get the stuffed animal, the stuffed animal shark, and you unzip his belly, and the Kintner boy spills out all over the dock.
Oh, the Kinder boy. Oh my god.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, my first Kintner boy.
Yeah, oh, that's great. You're right. I love it. You got to collect all the pieces too, like
Right.
like you got the one half of Robert Shaw that you can buy.
Yeah.
He's filled with squibs.
And I
You
remember
can
one
buy
more
those
thing.
guts come
Yeah, you
out.
could buy the little compressed air thing to put it in his mouth and the gun to shoot it with.
And I remember one more thing. The next day, my dad and I went fishing, and we came back with a catch. We had a couple fish, and I said, "Dad, I want the skeleton inside because I want to paint it with markers because in my
Oh, cool.
tiny kid head." It's a full like the cartoons where the cat would eat the fish and the
Right.
and the skeleton would come out
Right.
and the skeleton would come out intact.
Yeah.
So he's trying to explain to me. He's like, "It's not like that." I go, "Sure it is." I go, "Cut the fish open and give me the fucking skeleton because I'm going to sit on the floor here. You don't even have any goddamn furniture in here. I'm going to sit on the floor. I'm going to paint the fucker. So do it." He's like, "It's not the way it is."
Yeah.
I go, "Do it." So he goes, "Fine, come over here and watch." And he opened it up and it just everything dumped out. And he goes, "Where's the skeleton?" And he was like mad. He's like, "Where's the skeleton? Where is
Yeah.
it, son?" I'm like,
Show me
and I
the
just walked
skeleton.
away. And I went and sat in the one chair in the living room thinking, this fucking sucks.
Oh my God.
And I
Oh
think
my God.
and I think in my dad's head it was the same thing because he was getting angry.
Yeah.
And I think he was just getting angry because of the situation.
I just tried
Right.
to have a nice time fishing with my kid.
And now
Yeah.
I realize that I'm in an apartment with no fucking furniture. You know,
Jesus.
so we're both in our corners going, "This sucks."
Wow.
More,
It is
next,
ordinary
next
people.
week, more stories from the Mike's
hear that?
life of a budding serial killer. Well, luckily they keep a vat of acid out behind the transitional place for singles. We could just dissolve the fish.
Yeah. We don't have to, it'll be totally intact.
Yeah.
I closed.
By the way-
I closed my notes.
Yeah, which one of
Done.
us brought up Bad News Bears in the first place? I feel like a
You did,
total
I
asshole.
think.
I think it
You
was
did.
me. Yeah.
It was instantly
Sorry,
Mike
Mike.
went down the rabbit hole when you did that.
It's all right.
And we were here for
okay.
him, laughing.
It's all right. I closed the book. I'm gonna grab some scotch.
There you go. Perfect. Perfect
Okay.
ending to a perfect day. Well, on that note, we've done
Perfect.
it. We've done minute 42 of Caddyshack, and we've done
And
it
then
well.
some. Yeah.
And then some. And we'll be back next time for minute 43. We recommend you come and join us. We'll find out new things about Mike and maybe ourselves.
No question.
Yeah. So please come back then and join us again. And thank you and good night.
Hey, you scratched my ankle.